guys, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the channel. My name is Angie King and this is RWB Victoria. RWB Victoria was the first RWB that we ever built in the Philippines in partners with Nakai-san and Carporn Racing. But now that Carporn Racing is closed, I need to do a once-over with the car. I've gotten the car and there's quite a few number of issues that I need to work with. One of the main issues that I'm facing is that the wiring harness is a complete chaos and it's not working anymore. Over the years, we've added so many other external things that now the load of the system plus the layers of wiring from the various electricians that have touched the car has been overloaded. I've been writing down some lists and these are the things that I need to do for the car. But moreover, it's redoing the wiring. Over here, I've listed down the fuses and the fuse load rating along with the total amps and watts that I think the car is going to be consuming. And after doing this computation, I quickly realized that our idle load versus our idle current isn't meeting. And after you kill the car after a long idle, the car actually won't start because the battery is flat. Because again, the alternator that we have is only 100 amps or 120 amps. So this has to be redone and I've managed to list down all the electrical loads, highlighted which ones I think are the heavy loads. And I got my friend from California, Jarek. You guys should follow Jarek. I'll leave his Instagram right here. Jarek is gonna be hooking me up with an AIM PDM32. This is a solid-state system which eliminates the use of relays and fuses. And I'm not an electrician expert by any means, but I do understand the basic tappings of the whole system. The car is already running a standalone AIM Series 7 Infinity box, which means I don't need to touch the engine wiring, which is just going to be making it easier for me because I just have to redo the whole body wiring. The advantage of the PDM or the power distribution module from AIM is that you're able to control most of the components with no fuses, I repeat, no fuses, which is awesome, and minimum amount of relays because we still do need relays for the very high load items. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be tearing down the wiring myself and hopefully Jarek will be able to send me the upgraded AIM PDM series along with the 6-inch dash display, which will allow me to reconfigure the whole car from front to the back. Over the years, we've modified the car so many times. It started off as a Carrera Tiptronic, and then we put air suspension on it as our first mod, and then an exhaust, and then after that, the RWB build happened. When I finished the RWB build, I ended up slapping an LS1 with a Renegade hybrid conversion, and we actually put a G50 manual gearbox in it. The car ran for a while, it was pretty much fun, but knowing me, I decided to upgrade it again, and now we are running an LS3 525 HP crate engine from General Motors. The gearbox has also been upgraded now to a 997 GT2 gearbox with a guard LSD. And obviously along the way, because we've added a front radiator, the front fans, electronic power steering pump, and electronic water pump, we had to redo and add so much load into the wiring, which is what is causing all these problems. When I did compute it, the load that I'm getting, I think is almost 300 amps. So, which means I need a very high current alternator and I need some switches to make sure that I can kill some fans when I don't need them running. So that's a brief overview of the car, but yes, right now let's take down the alternator so that we can show it to Jarek and hopefully we can get our parts soon because I really want to get this car back on the road and running again. This is what the front trunk looks like. You still have the stock fuel pump along with a sway bar, 5-gallon air tank, air compressor, fitment engineering management, along with the M-Track battery. This is the electronic power steering on the side over there. This is the fuse box, which I'm going to be removing. RX air struts. I have a Morimoto headlight upgrade with an RWB logo. This is the bumper cut out from the 997 GT3 example that we had. And then the bigger front fascia opening for the radiator to get all the air I moved the tow hook mount right in the middle. Kept the air duct open instead of putting a fog light here, which feeds the oil cooler here and the aircon evaporator over there. Standard canards. This is the Toyo 888 rubbers, along with the stop deck big brake kit and the rotiform wheels. Not much here on the side. Carbon mirror caps, these are made by the car shop. And then moving to the back, same 888 rubber, stop deck big brake kit, and I think these are titanium lug nuts. This is the GT wing, which the car needs a repaint because I have a track video, which I'll post somewhere here, where we almost burned the car down. This is our custom exhaust, which is now almost very similar to a straight pipe, which goes out through the plate mount. I need to make a new plate mount and obviously paint this. This is the LS3 motor, custom coil pack mounts. These are our fuel rails, fuel pressure regulator. This is the coolant overflow bottle along with a breather for the oil. Moving here to the side, this is the transmission cooler for the gearbox, and you can see the exhaust system with the headers over there. Moving to the interior, we have a Recaro seat, Renline track matting, full carbon sidings, full carbon dash, and this is real carbon, it's not just an overlay. Momo drift wheel, the CD5 gear indicator selector, and the sequential shifter. This is the carbon intake box in the back, along with the AIM Infinity with the roll cage. So the box feeds air through the window, and there's a J-tube that connects down. I'll get some better B-roll after we do the walk around, but yes, everything here works. It's just that, again, the load is not sufficient, so definitely redo the wiring, review what we don't need, and start the work. This is the alternator. For those who don't know, the alternator provides current to your car, and I can see already some issues. The positive terminal where the power is supposed to be loading into the car is severely corroded. This looks like it actually burned a little already, so the contact there is already terrible in itself. The stud looks like it was cut also, and then the power cable, which is supposed to connect this to your battery, it's also the wrong gauge. Is a very thin wire where it should be like a thick wire, because yeah, we're trying to drive current into the car. This is a 2-pin system, and it's rated at 140 amps, 12 volts, 140 amps. Hey guys, we just got some packages in the mail. I want to thank Jarek so much for sending us this PDM module. This is the AIM dash, and my knife needs to be sharpened. And then this is the PDM module. So this is going to be replacing our dash kit in RWB Vicky. And Jarek was saying it's pretty simple to get it started. I'm hoping I have enough brain power figure all this out on my own, knowing that I don't have any electrician now. So we're going to be opening the box, seeing what's inside the package. An AIM sticker. Check out the new dash. Looks pretty good. Excited to see this get on, and it just has a CAN bus wiring. So single output connector, can't screw that up. This is not the major of the work. The major of the work is actually the PDM module. So we're going to put that back in the box and proceed to open the PDM module. Not the smoothest unboxing. Jarek has prepared this for us. Well, I don't know if he's prepared it for us, but he's basically printed out a guide that we can use to figure out the wiring for everything else. So I'm going to be studying this real quick and figuring out how to go about this whole system. So this is the PDM32 kit. 32 means the outputs that we need for the car. So 32 is usually for road car, and for a race car you'd probably go with the PDM08, which means there's only 8 inputs. This is how the kit looks. As you can see, it's super easy to figure out, right? There's not enough sockets. This one, it's gonna go straight to the power, and then it's gonna go to the dash, and then these are the harnesses that are going to integrate with the car. And the teardown has begun. I have Norman ripping out the whole interior for Vicky. And yeah, we're fixing the bumper, covering the holes. This is where I'm at now. I started to cut some wires ready, and I know this is the factory harness, so that's gotta go. This is so heavy in this section already. I just removed what it's tapped to. This is the AEM harness, so we're gonna leave that first. Although there are some alterations on the AEM harness, I'm not quite sure which ones we need to check, but I decided to basically remove as much wiring as possible, because tracing all these wirings with all the cut tips, we have so many other wires here that are dead wires. I've been actually pulling wires in and out, left and right, and all around the car, and with some stuff we've cut. This is a wire that I don't know where it's going. These are the wires I pulled out, and this is where we're at on this side. So this is the immobilizer module that can go as well, along with the seat bracket, the seat plugs, which are somewhere in here, plus this whole massive fuse box. This is gonna go. Let me do a quick voice update on what is happening. I really haven't been vlogging much because I've been trying to figure all these wirings out. I've laid out all my wiring, which I think I'll be needing right here. These are the pin outs. These are the assignment for the switches, what I need always running, what are the ignition systems and what's always on. Another pin out diagram. I decided to put the PDM in the old fuse box location because it made sense. I've now pulled all the wiring from both headlight, park light sides and the fans here separately, the EPS pump. I have the new anti-gravity battery, which is lithium ion, and I have a solid state relay here. Let me get another view. So I have a solid state relay here and a bus bar. and I've made this cable yesterday. We're using the heat shrink tubing with the glue in it so that the cables are secure, and then obviously we're going to make the cables more secure later on. I am leaving the headlight relays and maybe the relay for the electric power steering. The aircon system I'll probably leave for classic speed to wire in using the Dakota system. And what we're going to do now is actually go live. We're going to tap the negative terminal on the battery and try to power up the ECU. So the ECU we actually have grounded here, and I have it powered through the solid state kill switch. I have the negative here. Hopefully that will work. That'll be my temporary ignition, so to speak. And yeah, let's see if this thing fires up. We'll hook it up to the laptop also so we can see the load rating of the circuits that we're wiring in. First off, we're probably going to wire in one of the fans just to test it and then figure it out from there. And you can watch the CAN bus turn on also. So we are getting power. There, that's better. 13 volts at the bus bar. 13 volts at the kill switch, and then 13 volts at the surlock. Okay, I think we're ready to power on the ECU. The kill switch works. Perfect. And now the moment of truth. This should light up right here. I have our standby lights on. That's good. Now I'm gonna get the laptop and plug everything in. So this cable comes with the PDM and it hooks up here to the USB port. And we're in. Now we can see the current going through each of the channels. Yep, so now we're going to hook up a circuit and see if we can get something to fire based off the CAN switch. We're gonna close this first. Okay, quick update on Vicky. I have been super procrastinating to finish all the wiring because a few weeks ago when I was wiring the car, I ended up shorting a section. This is for the key barrel. So when I turned the key on, all of a sudden this basically caught fire and one of the negative terminals or negative wires burnt to a crisp. As you can see here, it's super charred. So basically what happened was because it loaded all the electrical negative line to, I guess, a higher ampere, I basically fried the wire and I don't want to use this anymore. I will keep the key barrel just to lock the steering wheel for security, but we will be replacing it with this. I ordered a push start and stop system. As long as you have the key fob in your pocket, it acts as a transponder. So hopefully this will make my life easier. I'm going to run all the electronics through here and use this to crank everything. This will still be my kill switch, and then yeah, I'll just put the start and stop button somewhere about here. So because Jed was here, we are actually talking about creating more aero for Vicky because I want to make Vicky a more track-focused car. So what's going to happen is we're actually going to flip the radiator already and finally rotate it this way so we can punch some holes on the upper hood so that we can get the proper airflow, almost like the S-duct for the Pista as well. Norman made quick work of removing the radiator. Now we have to dismantle this brace that we built long ago. This is sort of my bumper support along with a tow hook beam. So we're going to unbolt it from the left and right side, but we're going to have to grind this out. So we might have to actually make a new support system for the front end. But what's going to happen is the radiator is now going to come vertically this way, so that we can cut the hood and vent out through the hood as well, just like the race cars of the olden days. While Norman is doing the front end, I'm actually going to start wrapping some of the wires already so that we can get some of the wires out of the way, so visually it looks like there's less wires going around. We have made a lot of progress. I do need to wire in now the radio and the cigarette lighter, which is super easy. I've downloaded the manual for that and I actually just traced some of the wires already, so no problems there. Yeah, next up is just cleaning up all the wires so that we can sort of reassemble the car and see where all the modules are gonna go and all the other things that I need to hide and tuck. Norman's made quick work of the front end, removing most of the bars already. So we're going to get to mock up the radiator and see what direction or how much adjustment we will need. Norman works so fast. He's able to flip the radiator around already. Down here you can see what's happening. We flipped it around. We're going to cover the whole lower section. Try to ram as much air into the radiator, and then we're going to cut the hood and vent it upward. I'm going to have to leave the project for today. We're going to put this on hold and come back at the end of May because we do have a medical checkup happening in Singapore this Sunday. So Norman is going to continue finishing the front end. After that, he's going to assemble the front bumper, and then I told him to put on the dashboard also. We have a place ready to mount the CAN bus switch, and then yeah, after that I'm going to try to finalize all the wires and wrap this up so we can send it down to classic speed to get painted. I still don't know how to wire in the wiper, hazard lights, and the window switches. I might do those manually instead and have classic speed help me. Also the air conditioning, I will have classic speed help me wire in the air conditioning. But for now, most of the functions of the car are working. We will mount the air suspension system back on. I don't know how we're going to end up cutting this. Obviously we have to remove the logo later on, but we're going to see if we can follow some sort of the lines and recess it. I've always had this idea, but Jed pushed it on me just the other day because of the aerodynamic efficiency of having the S-duct to cool the radiator down. As you can see in the interior, we've actually cleaned up a lot of wires already. It still looks a little confusing because I need to wrap a lot of the wires here, but the starter module works now. We're gonna mount everything soon. Got the horn wired up and I've got the signal lights wired up. I'm actually gonna program the module now to see if it works. We have the CAN bus switch that I'm gonna position here. The radio wiring is finally done. I will move some wires because I ended up hooking up wires to the starter module, which I don't think I should load that, so I'm gonna bring it down to the PDM. We do have the gauge cluster here, which Norman is gonna mount over the weekend, and then we're gonna clean up a lot of the things. I'm gonna try to figure out the window wiring today, but I did burn the wiper module, so I had to order a new wiper module. I got the side mirrors to work already, so that's cool. I did get the air suspension to work already. That's charged up. Again, I'm just gonna start wrapping some of the lines. I have been programming like crazy. Sadly, I haven't figured out how to get the 12 CAN bus switch to work. The guys at AIM support are not the most helpful in that sense. There's a lot of things that you still need to figure out on your own. I did enroll in the HP Academy course for online PDM, but they're using Motec PDMs, which was a little different when you're coming to programming. So a lot of the secret for the PDM is actually in the program here. So I've learned how to program and trigger some of these things. I haven't loaded this version yet because I need to review some of the things because I did connect the high beam straight to the stock. So I just got to do a quick review before I upload this program, but that's basically all the updates that I have for Vicky. I did burn the wiper motor, which means I need to order a new circuit board for that. I think the radio is hooked up already. I can't find the wiring to the dome lights. Aircon blower, fan, and the compressor I will leave for classic speed to help me with, and then the fuel sender also I need help figuring out how to do this. So this is the last on my list. I will program the hazard button, and I need to wire in the sequential shift indicator. So I don't know if I can wire that into the cluster, but again, everything's getting super short already. Norman needs to finish the radiator system. The car does run already. I started with Vicky in December, so it's been roughly about 6 months already, and I think it would have been faster if I just really dove my nose into it even harder, but a lot of this is actually R&D and self-teaching myself. There are some classes online in HP Academy, but it's still not the same. Not like using the AEM system. The AEM system is a little tricky on its own, and lots of things to figure out in that sense. I will check on the radiator fans where I wired that to. I don't remember, but we're going to see. Windows finally work. Side mirror works, also passenger window. Horn. And we shut down because of power requirements, but the car is working already. I am charging the battery. We're gonna mount the cluster, and then we're going to finish wiring up or making a panel for this, putting the start stop switch here. The radio is gonna go back in. We're gonna blank that panel, and then new brake switch because I busted the old one. Over here in the back, we're gonna mount the ECU somewhere there. I need to get access to the speakers, so I think the windows have to come out so that I can wire in the rear speakers. This is mega. We're almost ready to test everything. I just figured out how to connect the CAN bus wire. This is the white wire that you see underneath. I'm going to see now what information we're going to get from the monitor. So this is a first for me. I'm taking you guys with my actual experience with wiring the whole system. First, I gotta run the start button wire through our rubber grommet. It's gonna be upward like this. This is so exciting. I was checking the previous videos and I actually started working on Vicky in November last year, which means it's been a very long time, and it's June now, so it's a lot of work. Anyway, let's see if everything works. I have the key fob over here. We're gonna turn the car on. Start stop switch turns on. Panel is not turning on. Maybe I need to plug it on the outside. I'll be back. I got too excited. I didn't plug the monitor to the PDM, but now everything is plugged. We're gonna try it again. I have the transponder here, turning the car on. Hey, JMP auto work. So Jarek was the one who programmed my ECU, and that's why we have that system. Let us test. Turning on the ECU, we have data from the ECU. I think we're good. We have voltage. My pedal is not yet plugged in. Let us plug the pedal to see if we have data from the pedal. See if the pedal ECU is working. So happy. We finally have the CAN bus of the AEM ECU connected to the AIM PDM, and that's the data right there. Other things that are working, the radio is working, the gear selector is working. And then, yeah, lights working, headlights working. I'm so happy. This is groundbreaking and monumental. Let's see if she fires up. Bravo! So this is the duct that we're planning to do. Here it is, the hood vent. So the hood vent is going to help eliminate our hot air from the radiator. Norman will build us a wall that's going to drop straight down here to seal up the fans, and then we're going to build a, I guess, a negative lip going in. So we actually also have to cut this whole front section, which means I'm going to need some hood pins. Over here we're just going to trim this section from here all the way to the hood latch up to there, and then we're going to have a nice S-duct. I'm going to end up covering this already, so this is non-functional anymore because we flipped the radiator. Hopefully this will bring all my temperatures down. We have our airlines a bit jumbled up. The fronts are in the backs and the backs are in the front, and then we have a leak for the passenger rear. So the car is going to be sent off to classic speed so that we can finish painting the rest of the things. Or should I send it down to my fiberglass guy first into the rear diffuser? Maybe we should change the aero first so that we can get more downforce. I was chatting with Jed last night and he was saying that the angle of our duct is too steep. So I put a bar and I measured the angle, and yeah, it's like a 90-degree angle. So one of the issues here is when the car is traveling at speed, when the air makes a, I guess, a wall, a dam of air, it might not let the air that's coming in through the radiators out. So we're gonna have to lower the air tanks. We're basically gonna try to drop this a little lower and then start the recess to go down a little sooner so that the angle is a little smoother. Plus there will be extra help for the, I guess, yeah, for the air to get pulled out of the ducting system rather than being shut down because of the high wind flow going over the nose. Norman's already dropped the air tank. We stole the air tank from the C6. We do have another air tank here which we're gonna mount into the C6 temporarily, but that's what we're using now. And we're basically trying to decide how big the opening is. He's cut the opening much further back now. So we're actually planning to leave the venting down so that when you open the hood, it's not part of the hood, and we'll just put rubber grommets here or rubber seals so that we can seal it down. Norman is just securing our hood latches. We are going to be deleting this center section so that we can increase the cut on the hood, and we're sort of going to follow how the Pista has the indentation. I'm thinking of adding some vents here. Jed has been on the phone with me to sort out what are the high pressure areas and low pressure areas, so we're going to vent even down to the side skirt there. And then eventually we're going to put a side diffuser wing. I did remove the front chin already because we do need a front splitter. And then we're going to make a bigger canard, definitely. Over here in the rear, I actually have a fender vent from Yutaka. They never installed it, so which means I actually need to pay Maricel for this and basically install it, cut out the fender here to relieve also some high pressure buildup so that the air will vent out here. And then over here, we're also going to relieve some more pressure by increasing this vent size over here. I will be trimming the lower half of the bumper as well so that we can make way for building a diffuser, but that will come last. And then we have a chance to actually add some coolant already so that we can test the car on idle. I have hooked up the alternator cable, which I thought I wasn't going to do, but we ended up doing it so that we can test and idle the car. We're just waiting for a 250 amp breaker that we're going to put installed in the front end. Now we're gonna do the venting for the S-duct. Norman has cut the hole to a much wider and much longer distance. We've also installed the hood latches over here. So we're gonna construct the venting from just illustration board and then work our way from there. Back to working on Vicky. I have to install a breaker because we're gonna install the alternator cable. This is the alternator cable, the big guy over there. So I do have a breaker on the floor. I just need to get my tools so that I can cut this cable. It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm gonna see if I can use the cutting disc and the air saw. It's the right size. It's actually a bit loose. We look for smaller terminals. This is a live wire when the car is powered, so I just want to make sure that there's extra protection. Even though we are going to heat shrink tube everything like so. Just want to take out the sharp parts. One quick issue with the breaker is I cannot mount it flat, which means I have to file the end of the breaker or the terminal, or we can do the sideways mount, so possibly this way. Back to working on Vicky. I made a mistake installing the rear fender vent, which means I needed to move it. So we have a second hole here, and we also have a second hole on the actual fender. I'm also chatting with Nakai now, asking him for tips. I have put two bolt holes already, and he said he'll send pics later, but I think I have an idea. Turn on the pump. Still bleeding the system, it's still bubbling, so we still have some air in the system. So if you have air in your system, you're going to have a boil over, which means you're going to pop a line, because once air is compressed inside the system, it wants to escape. So you want to make sure there's no air bubbles in your radiator system. This is so ceremonial. We are finally putting gas. I've made an executive decision to bring the car down to Manila tomorrow so that we can continue working on the aero. These are all the things that we removed from the car: wiring harness, panels, accessories, extra stuff we didn't need. These are all the wires that I pulled out of the car, along with the fuse box and the relays. These are all the other accessories that we've also pulled out of the car so that we don't need them anymore. So technically I could say we really lightened the car. Now I finished doing the winglets on the rear fenders, but I will leave Kevin to do the rest of the car. We will be building the rest of the car, completing some of the parts of the car also. So I haven't decided on this. I think we're going to go with the rear one over the top one. I'm not so sure. We'll see how everything goes when we drop the car down. And for now, I'm just going to bring the car down. Hopefully it stands up, and then tomorrow we'll be loading it on the flatbed truck. Breaker that we installed tripped, so I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna pull out the tester real quick to see if there's any issues with the wiring, but I do have a 300 amp breaker that we can install also. Alright, trying to figure this out. We put a 300 amp breaker, so hopefully that's enough to keep the alternator stable. I noticed the voltage drop as soon as we turned on the fan, so It should be at 14 volts. Our idle is so high, but so far our battery is holding. We're gonna figure out also if the fans will turn on, so we're gonna let it idle and see how high the ECU rates the coolant temperature. So I've turned on everything to simulate power drain except for the air conditioning because I didn't wire that in. Hazards on, the headlights are on. This is such a great feeling, guys. I can't believe that the car is running, every electrical component is working except for the air conditioning. But before I shut it down, some baby revs. It's whistling right behind my ear because the intakes are over here. I feel so accomplished. I can't believe the car is running, the car is idling. I do need to check the water leak that's happening right behind me, but wow, everything is working. I'm so happy that this is a great day for me, and it's taken us like 8.5 or 9 months to get here, but finally Vicky is going down so we can continue to do the aero work, and then after that we're going to do a full repaint because this purple needs a refresh, and then from there we're going to begin to track the car. So hopefully everything goes to plan. Again, thank you so much if you guys are still watching this late in the video. This video is so long already. There was a lot of learning process in between when I started and all the way up till today, but wow, I feel so good. I'm gonna shut this down and turn her off. I'm so happy. Anyway, I'm probably gonna end this vlog here, so the next time you actually get updates of Vicky, it's gonna be shorter and sweeter thanks to our new editor Cholo and obviously our old editor Nick that's working side by side now to finish more content for you guys. So thank you again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot of learning for me, but promise the next time I wire a car in, it's going to be much shorter and much sweeter. But this feels good. The first time always feels the best. Anyway, I'm probably gonna end this vlog here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, please leave me a comment down below. I'll see you guys again in the next vlog. Peace.